Smith, I think, coming off a real strong performance yesterday against Ithaca, and he had a real great game. Found right in front of the penalty box, picked up by Sharkey, tries to move it ahead, and inside here comes Stain Street. Stain Street for West Jenny, knocked off the puck, and it's still, now it's out to center ice. Raiders try to go the other way. And a big check thrown on Sean Petrie right in front of the West Jenny bench, and the puck bounces up over the glass.
The guy throwing that big check is Joe Duafour, but he really nailed Sean Petrie right in front of the West Jenny bench. Put him halfway into the West Jenny bench. West Genesee wearing their traveling royal blue uniforms trimmed with bright yellow, as Sal would say.
Off the face-off, puck controlled by West Genesee. And that is Doeffler. Doeffler flicks it into the Massena zone. Danny Miller after it in behind the net. He slides it ahead to Tubolino. AJ starts out left side. Gets by one. Here's Tubolino. Center ice. Makes the move. He's going to head man. Hadler. Hadler on the off wing. Trying to drop it down the middle. Tubolino, and nobody got it. Tubolino thought Petrie was, but here comes Massena, and the shot is blocked. Comes back to Tubolino. Poke checked away and out to center ice. As racing in there was Jake Whitcup. Now right back comes Dan Miller. Miller 1-on-3, and he's just going to dump it deep in West Jenny territory. We're underway in the hockey game. No score as of yet. Puck clear to the blue line. Kept in momentarily. Still in the West Jenny zone. And now it trickles out to center ice. Raiders pick it up. Flip ahead. Right back in the zone. It's Kevin Costello. Back out to center ice. Dumped right back in again by Ian Maxwell. It goes back in the corner. West Jenny zone. DeMarkey with it. Around the boards to the blue line, but not out. Kept in momentarily as the Darling line is out for Massena. West Jenny will dump it. Maxwell touches it, so icing will be waved off, and Ian will have to go in after it. Here's Ian Maxwell flipping it along the boards, not out of the zone, however, kept in by Connor Thompson, who is forechecking. Now there's a scrum, and the puck comes bouncing along the boards and to the blue line, but not out of the zone. Now it'll go over on the other side, but just inside the Massena blue line. Puck flipped in the corner. Here's a shot, and I think that hit the crossbar. Here's another shot, that goes in behind the net. Puck around the boards, and finally it's picked up by Cameron, and he flips it ahead. Here comes Darling racing for it. Is he going to get there? He does come up with it behind the net, West Jenny territory. Here's Darling coming out of the corner, trying to drop it back to the blue line, but nobody there, and it races all the way back in the Massena zone. Horan back to pick it up and flip it ahead. Raiders control. Evan Labarge, his bounce pass. He's got the man. Breaking in is Rogers, right side. Rogers, sharp angle shot. He didn't miss by much. Comes around to Labarge at the point. He whacks at it. It's blocked. Comes out to center ice. Horan's there to dump it, and it goes back in the zone. Stopped behind the net by the goaltender, Shepard, for West Genesee. In behind, it's Tim Sharkey. Flips it to the blue line. Still in the zone. Now it trickles out to center ice. Dumped right back in by the Raiders. Racing back after it is Mazzoni. Mazzoni doesn't clear. He gets it right back again. Rogers forechecking. Mazzoni turns it back into the corner. He'll take it behind his own net. He'll come out left side. Headman on the wing. Just bounces out to center ice. Horan is there to dump it right back in the corner. Picked up there again. This time is Sharkey. Sharkey stick handles, and he'll dump from the red line deep in Massena territory. Horan and back in after it. For Massena out the left side. Looks up ice. He'll take it by a check, goes to Hadler with it. Hadler looking ahead man. Nice headman. Here comes Massena's AJ Tubolino, but it's poke checked off his stick. He'll have to take it out of the corner. Here's Tubolino trying to pass it across to Miller, breaking in. Miller backhand across the goal mouth. Nobody there to put it home. The puck cleared down the ice, and that'll be an icing call against West Genesee. Great pass, some good moves, and just didn't finish.
Well, it didn't finish because it was a great defensive move by both Kelly Lynch, the back-checking wing, and number 16, Adam Mazzoni, defensively, that took away that looked like started out like a great scoring opportunity for the Raiders, but good defensive work by the Wildcats to negate that.
Tubolino wins the draw. Back to Miller. His shot is blocked, and it bounces down the ice. It'll roll into the Massena end. Racing back after Jake Whitcup. Whitcup turns in the corner. Looks up ice, looking for somebody to pass to. Will go to Danny Miller on the other side. Miller bounces it ahead. It's just deflected in the zone nicely. Here comes Massena's Petrie. Petrie trying to cut across the middle. Slides the puck in front, the backhander, and the save made as Hadler got a piece of it. Hadler throws a check. Comes up with a puck. Gets tied up. The puck squirts free. Gets it back again. Here's Hadler in the corner. Hadler gets tied up by the defenseman. The puck slides back to Hadler to Tubolino. Tubolino's going to go back to Miller at the point. Miller takes it toward the middle. Winds up. Quick snapshot. Deflects into the corner. After it is Hadler again. Hadler pokes it by the defenseman. Hadler trying to pick it up. He gets double teamed. The puck squirts free to the blue line. Not out. Kept in there nicely. Puck in behind. That's Jacob Whitcup. Whitcup gets tied up in behind the net but stays with it. Finally, he's knocked down. And the puck in the corner. There's a battle for it. And it bounces around. And finally, West Jenny will bounce it off a couple of bodies and down the ice. And that's going to be waved off as Jake Whitcup comes back for it. Jacob's getting a little more confidence, isn't he, Coach?
Yes, he is. And when you score a game-winning goal, it gives you a lot of confidence.
Here comes Massena back in the zone again. Darling trying to get by the check. Sharkey knocks him off the puck. And we have a whistle. Going to be a hooking call. I think it's going to go against West Genesee.
And number 24, Tim Sharkey, their fine-looking veteran defenseman, one of the few defensemen back from last year, is going to get a hooking call, and the Raiders will go on the power play with 8:50 left in the period. Massena kind of weak last night on the power play. They're coming in 5 for 37, 13.5% on the power play.
Kinda? You're being kind, Coach. Off the face-off, controlled by West Genesee. That's Meinecker, and he'll dump it down the ice. Leroy Swamp out of the net to play it. He'll just try to flip it by the forward forechecking to Rogers. Rogers comes up. His headman pass right on the stick of Petrie. Petrie kicks it across the blue line, takes it in the corner, looks to set up. He passes to himself, actually. Then he'll flip it over on the other side. Here's Trent Thomas with it at the circle. He's going to flip it in the corner off a leg to Rogers. Rogers gets tied up but stays with it. He'll flip on the 45 to Petrie. Goes all the way back to the point. Labarge winds, but right there to make the save is goaltender Kevin Shepard. And the C's again parted in front of him. Nobody in front running any interference, and the goaltender will make that save every day.
You bet. And if you're just going to skate around the outside trying to set up your overload or whatever the Raiders are using on this one, it's an overload, and the opposition is going to let you do that all day long. And when you shoot it, you got to have somebody in front of that net.
Off the face-off, puck clear to the blue line. And can they keep it in? Miller did keep it in momentarily, but it's back out to center ice. Labarge to Petrie. Petrie will dump it in the corner. Cleared around the boards by West Jenny. Kept in nicely by Miller. Miller goes to Labarge. Winds up. Shot through traffic. Save made. That time, a good save by the goaltender as there was a little traffic in front. Puck picked up again by Moniker, the defenseman. Rips it around the boards. Miller again keeps it in. Here's Danny Miller. Goes to Labarge. Labarge steps by the check. Here's Labarge skating. He'll drop it into the corner to Petrie. Petrie, centering pass in front. Bounces high in the air. There's a battle in the slot. Comes back to Labarge. Labarge flips it to Petrie at the dot. Petrie centers it right in front. Oh, just missing is Trent Thomas. He was right there. Got his stick on it. Back to Miller at the point. Miller winds through traffic. It's blocked. Miller, now Thomas. Thomas by the blue line as the penalty elapses. And it's Petrie behind the net. Petrie still has the puck. He'll drop it for Thomas. Back to Petrie, but it's intercepted. And it's dumped, but not out of the zone. Trent Thomas keeps it in, but we have a whistle. And we got a high sticking call against Massena.
Going to be Sean Petrie is going to get a high sticking call. Raiders didn't score, but they put all kinds of pressure on it. Some great passes in there. Danny Miller and Sean Petrie setting up Evan Labarge and Trent Thomas, and two great passes.
So the Raiders now, with a man down, they try to break their way through. That was Alan Borden making a nice move. He dumps it in the corner. Picked up by Tom Fusillo. He's not huge. The puck back out to center ice and just dumped into the West Jenny zone. Here comes West Genesee back the other way. Into the Massena zone it comes. Here's a shot, and the save made by Leroy Swamp. Puck picked up by Tubolino. He's got room behind the net, looks up ice, and then cranks it down the ice. And back to pick it up. Here comes Tom Fusillo. Fusillo out from behind his own net. He'll flip it ahead to the red line. Right there is Whitcup to dump it right back inside West Jenny territory. And back comes West Genesee, the Warriors into the Massena zone. Whitcup in a foot race for it. Comes up with the puck nicely. Takes it behind his own net. Looks up ice. Off the glass and down the ice. And it's stopped by the goaltender, Kevin Shepard, side of the net. He'll leave it for Tom Fusillo again. Fusillo being bothered. And some good pressure there by Jared Bradish. Now the puck dumped to the Massena line. Whitcup is there to pick it up. Tries to dump it ahead, dumped right back in the Massena zone. Leroy Swamp stops it, leaves it for Miller behind the net. Miller high in the air, but not out of the zone. Here's the chance, and the shot knocked down, deflected right on. Oh boy, that deflected off a Massena forward who was back checking, and Leroy sat down just in time to cover it.
Well, I tell you, that's when you'd rather be lucky than good. And Leroy had that one labeled, but it changed directions. It looked like it was going to go wide, but as you mentioned, hit the Massena defenseman stick and just changed about 35 degrees, and he was able to react. Good job by goaltender Leroy Swamp.
Here's the face-off. Inside Massena territory. Horan with it. He tries to flip it in the corner as the penalty as he lapsed. Raiders get the man back. Horan has the puck behind the net. He'll rip it around the boards. Coming out after it is Matt Hatch. Hatch looks. Nice bounce pass. Trying to move it to Supernaut. He gets tied up and hammered. And it's dumped back in the zone. It'll be an offsides on Massena. As, let's see here. That was Stain Street, who is what? At least a foot taller than Hatch.
Maybe a foot and a little bit. Yeah, he is a lot taller than Matt Hatch, but Hatch plays big.
Off the face-off. Here comes Zepiogi, knocked away, back down in the Massena zone. They wave the icing off, and Evan Labarge will have to come back after it. Still no score on the IceHawk custom screen printing scoreboard. Labarge is upended. The puck stolen away. Here's an opportunity for West Genesee as they move it in the corner. Raiders just trying to come up with it. Labarge throws a check, bounces away from him. Along the boards, back toward the blue line. Out, back in again. Yeah, they got the call. And that's an offsides called against West Genesee.
The Wildcats having some of the same problems the Raiders, lack of goal scoring, and but maybe even more so. They're 1-7, Jerry, and they've been shut out 5 of those 8 games this year. So that tells you something about their lack of offensive production.
Off the face-off, puck just across the Massena line. Miller brings it back out again, tries to step by the check. Here comes Danny Miller, he lost it. Bouncing back out to the red line, dumped right back in. Ow! That hit the defenseman. He clears it high in the air and off the ice surface, and we'll have a face-off in West Genny territory. 4:35 left in the first period, and it's a scoreless tie right now on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard.
A couple local connections. Mary Bazile, many residents know Mary, and Frank, longtime teacher. Their grandson plays on this West Genesee team, but he's out of action today with a concussion.
Off the draw, the puck in the corner. Raiders control it. Jared Bradish trying to dump it in behind the net. There's a battle there as Cameron had it momentarily. Now Bradish comes in to help out, takes it into the corner. His pass out toward the blue line is intercepted, and right back comes West Genny's Sauda. Sauda into the Massena zone, stolen by Miller from Massena. Miller upended, but he flips the puck around the boards into the corner. It bounces side of the net. Whitka picks it up there. Here's Jake Whitka. He'll come out left side this time. Looks up ice, flipping it ahead to Miller. Miller has to knock it to the neutral zone. Bouncing around, Cameron takes a whack at it. Now Miller with a puck, skates along the blue line. Headman trying to go to Darling, and Darling was tied up, so the puck goes right by him back in the West Genny zone. Tim Sharkey. Sharkey's headman to the neutral zone. Intercepted there by Tubolino, in turn stolen by Holtzheimer. Now it's dumped right back in the West Genny zone. Goaltender Shepard leaves it behind the net for his defenseman. That's Meinecker. Now the puck in the corner. Cleared to the blue line and out to center ice. Picked up by Jared Munson. He'll dump it right back in for Massena. Back after it again is Eric Meinecker. He dumps it right back down the ice. And Munson went to play it, went right by him, so he'll have to retreat and pick it up for Massena. Headman, he'll leave it for Petrie, who has to back up, and it's stolen and a shot, and a save made by Swamp. Now Tubolino will pick up the loose puck. Here's Tubolino, slides it ahead, Hadler. Poke check from Hadler, but Tubolino's there to dump it back inside West Genny territory. Tom Fusillo back after it. Fusillo takes it from behind the net. Starts it out for West Genesee. His headman pass goes to the Massena line. Ian Maxwell is there to try to backhand it ahead, but it's kept in the zone and goes in behind the net. Munson is there. He'll flip it over on the other side for Adam Smith. Smith's pass to the blue line, still in the zone. Now it's poke checked out to center ice. Right back in again. Munson picks it up. Here's Jared Munson along the boards. Goes for Rogers. Rogers loses it, and we have a whistle. What's the call?
Maybe too many men. We'll wait and see. The gate is open on the West Genesee side, and the whistle came, but we'll see if referee Joel Dupree makes the call. I think it's going to be too many men against West Genesee. because the guy that came on touched the puck before the player had got to the bench, and it's going to be a bench minor.
So bench minor for too many men on the ice from the looks of it, and that will give Massena the power play with 2:24 left in the first period, and it's still scoreless.
Both teams rolling over 4 lines. Coach Frank Calabufo rolling over 4 lines along with Coach Ed Latham.
All right, off the faceoff, the puck dumped by Petrie. And back to pick it up is Sharkey for West Jenny. He finds the hole. No, he didn't clear the zone. Kept in by Miller, who dumps it to Petrie behind the net. Sean Petrie setting up. He'll go over on the other side. Trent Thomas, sharp angle, hits the side of the net. And I think it's tied up in the mesh, or the goaltender has it.
And the goaltender didn't have a stick. The Raiders actually had a better than a man advantage, but they couldn't work it around, get themselves a better shot. They a tough angle shot, and goaltender Kevin Shepard smart enough to grab it and hold for a faceoff.
Off the draw, puck goes back to the point. Labarge goes to Miller. He's got room, winds up, fired it wide. Back to Labarge, quick snapshot, deflected in. Trent Thomas will get the goal, and the Raiders take a 1-0 lead on the power play.
Danny Miller ripping a shot from that right point that missed the net on the right side, caromed off the dasher back out to the far side, and Evan Labarge, a low shot along the ice, and we do think possibly that Trent Thomas tipped it, and it redirected by goaltender Kevin Shepard. We'll wait and see if they give the goal to Thomas. Looked like it changed directions in front, but it's a power play goal for the Raiders.
Nope. I stand corrected. I thought for sure he deflected it, but I guess not. Miller gets the assist, Labarge gets the goal, and the Raiders get the lead. Puck's in the Massena zone. Now the whistle blows. Offsides, I believe.
Getting that first goal, which they haven't been able to do on a regular basis, it's so important, and that is a power play goal. It'll be Evan Labarge picking up his second goal of the year, and Danny Miller on the assist.
Here comes Miller building up ahead of steam, busts it ahead. It goes to Jared Bradish trying to make his move in the corner. Miller's in there too. Miller gets tied up behind the net, and the puck goes around the boards to Sharkey. He'll bounce it out to neutral zone. Picked up there by Sauta. Dumps in the Massena zone. Back after it is Jacob Whitcup. Jake starts it out, looks to move it ahead. Whitcup looks, trying to move it ahead to Petrie now. Or no, excuse me, that was Jared Bradish coming off. And the puck dumped deep in West Jenny territory where Sharkey picks it up and bounces it ahead. All the way down the ice, that should be an icing. And the whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off back inside West Jenny territory. 1:01 left in period number 1, and the Raiders lead 1-0 on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard.
Goalie Kevin Shepard thought that possibly Trent Thomas was going to get us, because he was kind of fooled on that. Kevin Shepard, who was the MVP of this tournament last year, Jerry, if my memory serves me correctly.
Okay. Face off left side. Puck sits in the circle. In behind the net, there's a battle for it there, and finally it's picked up by Stain Street. Stain Street high off the glass to the blue line. Kept in by Massena, though. Evan Labarge, he'll flip it back in the corner. West Jenny will try the other side, left side, and move it ahead to the blue line. And it trickles out to center ice, but right there is Horan to dump it right back in. Stopped behind the net by Shepard, the goalie. He'll leave it for his defenseman, Mazzoni. He gets tied up as Hadler is in there. Puck to the blue line. Oh, there's going to be a penalty on Massena. And it's going to be Adam Smith as soon as the Raiders touch the puck. They still haven't, well, they did touch it, but they didn't blow the whistle. Here it is. Now Adam touches it himself. He's going to be called probably for charging. Yeah, he took one too many steps, or two too many.
He might have taken about 4 too many. Adam Smith, we've talked about him a lot in this early season. He really likes the physical going, and he's not that big. He's fairly tall, but he's only listed at about 155 pounds. But he loves the heavy stuff, and he just put a lick on the West Genesee player, but too many steps in there.
Off the face-off, the Raiders trying to kill a penalty. About 17 seconds left in the period. That's Sharkey taking into the Massena zone. Evan Labarge picks it up, takes it in the corner, then dumps it over on the other side. Miller, he's got all kinds of time, and he's going to waste most of it and then dump it down the ice. In fact, the shot's right on with 3 seconds left, and that'll take care of the period. So the Raiders get the only goal of the period. Will go into the locker room leading 1-0. Raider hockey brought to you by Massena Savings and Loan, located on Main Street.
Go.
All right, we're ready to go here. Raiders are killing a penalty to start the period. Adam Smith with 1:11 left, and the Wildcats have the puck and they'll dump it in the Massena zone. Stopped by Leroy Swamp. He leaves it for Danny Miller, who comes from behind the net. Draws a crowd, gets tied up, and finally the puck squirts free. Picked up in the corner by West Genesee as they move it around the horn. Back to the point it goes. Tim Sharkey shot through traffic. Save made. Big rebound. And the shot got blocked, I believe. Miller comes up with a puck and bounces it ahead to Sean Petrie. Here comes Petrie in on the right wing side. He's got Rogers with him, but also several West Genesee players back checking. Rogers comes up with it behind the net. He'll dump it behind for Petrie. Petrie throws a check. The puck squirts into the corner, and he still goes after it, throws a check. Knocks the defenseman down. That was Eric Meinecker. Petrie doing a good job of wasting time here as we're down about 23 seconds left in the man advantage. Now Labarge steals the puck at center ice, dumps it back to the West Jenny line. Meinecker's there to pick it up from the red line. He dumps it deep in Massena territory. Stopped by Leroy Swamp, and West Jenny wants to make a line change. The Raiders will clear the puck down the ice. I've always thought it's tougher to start out the period on a power play than to have one in its full entirety during a period.
I think you've got some merit on that thought. A lot of coaches agree with that on that, Jerry.
Off the face-off, the puck dumped deep in West Jenny territory, so the Raiders successfully kill off. I don't think they gave up a shot. In fact, much of the time the puck was in the West Jenny zone where it is right now. In the corner, back to pick it up is defenseman Mazzoni. He'll flip it over on the other side to Sharkey. He'll start out right side, off the board, center ice. Miller's there to dump it right back. Here's Sharkey. Sharkey will dump it from on the wrong side of the red line, and icing will be the call against West Genesee. 13-19 left, second period. Coach's corner scoreboard says 1-0 Massena.
Goaltender Leroy Swamp throwing a goose egg at him in that first period. This is Leroy's fifth start. He's got a 4.41 goals against average and a .856 save percentage.
And we've got, let's see here, Massena out with a Supernal line. Supernal out there with Matt Hatch and Zeppi Ogene. Ogene steps in front of the pass. He's got it in the corner for Massena. Kind of stick handles around the defenseman, then gets tied up. And the defenseman lost his stick. Zeppi still got his. He moves the puck along the boards, kicks it free to Supernal, but he lost it off the end of his stick. Picked up by West Jenny. They don't clear the zone. Kept in nicely by Hatch, who dumps it back in the corner. West Genesee now just looking to clear the zone as Massena putting a little pressure on, and finally it's dumped down to the Massena line where Jake Whitka picks it up. He looks to head man, goes by everybody. It'll trickle right in on Shepard, and he'll leave it side of the net for his defenseman, Fusillo. He is checked. No, that's Mazzoni, excuse me. Now Fusillo picks it up, clears it around the boards. Whitka kicks it into the corner, but it's going to be bounced out to the neutral zone and dumped to the Massena line where Danny Miller for the Raiders comes up with it, banks it off the boards right back in West Genesee territory. Back after it is Adam Mazzoni. Mazzoni loses to Petrie, who falls down, then poke checks it behind the net. But back checking to pick it up is Streif. Streif loses to Tubolino. Tubolino, in turn, loses it at the end of his stick, and it trickles out to center ice. Tubolino back after it, looking to flip it ahead to Petrie. Petrie's pass across the blue line, and the forward Streif tripped on the puck, basically, and fell down. Puck still in the West Jenny zone. Now they move it out to center ice. Trickles to the Massena zone. Petrie picks it up, goes to Whitcup. Whitcup's headman pass goes by everybody, and down the ice it goes, and icing will be the call as the face-off will move back inside Massena territory. One of the players for West Genesee took a heavy check, Scott Lewis, and he is still shaking a little bit.
Yeah, he got hit high up in the thigh, I do believe. I'd be surprised if he comes back out. I think it was A.J. Tubolino got him with a good check right here just at center ice, and he took it right on the thigh, and that looks like a deep bruise, or feels like a deep bruise, way he's responding.
Off the face-off, Jared Munson with a puck to Alan Borden. Borden comes out of the corner, flips it ahead on the wing to Adam Smith. Smith upended, gets back up with it, flips ahead to Rogers. Rogers will break it ahead out of the zone. Here comes Rogers with it. He'll dump from the red line, deep in the zone. Back after it is the defenseman Meinecker. He'll rip it around the boards. Thomas steps in front, intercepts, comes in front. His shot, save made, and covering up on the rebound is Shepard. Shepard made the save, probably breadbasket high, and then dropped it at his feet. Thomas was there to bang at it, but he covered it up.
Yeah, and Thomas, if he realized, went back and replayed that one, he'd step out even further out in that slot area because no one challenged him. He had time to step out and give himself more of the net to shoot at. He looked and no one challenged him. He kept going towards the net, but not stepping out in front. And Shepard, again, staying on the post and took that short side away.
Donnie Wood, one of the officials, doesn't like the puck, and I can see why. I can see it down there. It's got a chunk taken out of the edge of it. So he goes back for a new puck. and will drop it in the West Jenny zone to the right of the goaltender, Kevin Shepard. Off the draw, Rogers trying to bust it through, comes back to Munson at the point, winds up and fired it wide. Alan Borden gets it at the other point. He'll just flip it in the corner. Puck rips around behind the net. Thomas gets tied up. The puck sits there, but is picked up by Adam Smith. His pass intercepted, and back comes West Genesee the other way. Into the Massena zone, it's O'Meara. O'Meara's pass, and Borden getting back nicely to break the play up as he had his man tied up, just the way you're supposed to. Now it's flipped by Munson around the boards. Adam Smith. He'll leave it for Borden, has it poked away. Smith behind the net. He and Holtzheimer going after it together. Smith comes away with it, flips it along the boards. Now Thomas gets tied up. The bouncing puck goes back to the point. Here's Sharkey, glove save, and a good one from Leroy Swamp. He saw it all the way and made the stop with a glove.
Tim Sharkey, who possesses a very, very hard shot. He likes to crank it up. He's not the biggest guy, but boy, he takes that thing back right behind his ear, and he cranks it. And excellent shot, but Leroy Swamp, good left hand.
Off the face-off in the Massena zone, off the save. There's a battle in the corner for the puck, and it squirts free, and it's picked up by the Raiders. Jared Bradish, headman to Kyle Cameron. He got away from Kyle, but it trickles back in the zone as Kyle battles for it. He and the defenseman go down. Kyle flips it in front. Here's a chance. Oh, Darling couldn't control it. Back to the point. Kept in at the point by Horan. Puck in the corner now. There's a battle in the corner for it. Darling's in there, and he manages to tie it up along with the West Genesee defenseman. I think that was Meinecker. We'll have a face-off inside West Jenny territory. 1-0 still Massena on the coach's corner scoreboard. 10-12 left in the middle period.
Good hustle by Kyle Cameron as he hustled in behind, dug that puck out, and centered it out in front.
Darling wins the face-off. The puck comes trickling back to the point. Horn keeps it in, flips it in the corner. Back after it, there's Fusillo. He'll rip it around the boards. Stopped there by Bradish. Back to the point. Here's a shot high over the net by Evan Labarge. Kyle Cameron digs it out of the corner. Flips to Darling behind the net. Darling comes from around the boards. Back to the point. Horan. He'll flip it back into the corner. It goes. Tom Fusillo there with Cameron. Fusillo comes away with it. Flips it to the blue line, and it's dumped down the ice. Will it go far enough for icing? Yes, it does. The whistle blows, and we'll have another face-off, and a face-off will be in the West Jenny zone.
Good shift out there, that line of Mark Darling centering Kyle Cameron on one side and Jared Bradish on the other. They had West Jenny hemmed in their own end that whole shift. And part of that, the Supernaut line with O'Gene and Hatch did an excellent job.
Tubolino's line out there. He wins the draw back to Borden at the shot, the point, and the shot and the save made by goaltender Kevin Shepard.
Again, won the draw, got it back to the point, but they got those forwards up front got to free themselves from their check and get to the net, screen that goaltender, redirect the puck.
Off the face-off. This time the puck sits in the circle, dumped in the corner. Petrie in behind the net. He's upended, stays with it. He's still got the puck. Trying to flip it ahead, gets double-teamed. It goes to the side of the net. Goaltender Shepard poke checks it into the corner. Made a good play. Puck clear to the blue line. Borden keeps it in momentarily. There's a battle right inside the blue line. It trickles out to center ice. Comes to the Massena line. Ian Maxwell backhands it. That's intercepted by Stapleton, and he'll dump it on the backhand inside Massena territory. Side of the net, Alan Borden with it. Nice headman pass to Petrie. A little bit too far, though, and it's dumped right back in behind the net where Maxwell picks it up. He just flips it around the boards, kept in by Sharkey at the point. In the corner again, it's Maxwell. To the blue line, it's out to center ice. Here comes Massena's Petrie. Petrie busts in, tries to get by the check. It goes off a leg. Hadler picks it up in the corner, right in front to Tubolino. Couldn't get a stick on it. Back to Miller at the point. Fakes the shot. Takes it in the corner. Danny Miller for Massena. In behind the net. He is knocked down, but he gets the puck back. Here's Miller with it. Miller starts to the side of the net. His puck is clear to the blue line. Maxwell can't keep it in, and down the ice it rolls. Leroy Swamp. He'll clear it, and he cleared it right into the forward, who wraps it around, gets a shot off, but it didn't go on net. Tubolino back the other way, building up a head of steam. Here comes Tubolino, trying to get by Sharkey. He stops at the dot, turns around, looks, and gets checked out of the play. The puck clear to the blue line and back out to center ice. Trickles into the Massena zone. Whitcup with it. Whitcup behind the net for the Red Raiders. Looks up ice. Doesn't have anybody to pass to. Then carries it ahead. Clears it to the blue line. Did it get out of the zone? It did. Bouncing around there. Back in the zone. Back out. Hatch is there, but it's poked away from him to Danny Miller in his own zone. Here's Miller. Headman pass doesn't clear, but Whitcup's there to cover up. He'll look for Hatch. Matt Hatch lets it go by, and it's poke checked by Supernaut back inside West Jenny territory. Still 1-0 Massena. We're about the midway point of the hockey game. Puck in behind the net. Raiders trying to forecheck. Hatch doing a good job. Now Supernaut. And Hatch gets knocked down, but the puck comes free, and it's dumped down the ice. And that will go far enough for icing as well, and the whistle blows, and we'll have another face-off.
You had an opportunity to talk to Coach Craig Siddon in your pregame, and maybe when you talk to him the next time, you could maybe have him recommend a few stick handling drills for Leroy, because he's at times he's a little weak in that area. He comes out and he just kind of, I don't know, he's got to work on that one part of his game.
Off the draw, the puck bouncing in the circle. Here's Adam Smith with it, bounces it in behind the net. Now Thomas throws a check and comes up with a puck, centers it in behind again. This time Adam Smith trying to center, but it's off a leg and controlled by West Jenny. They'll dump it down the ice. And again, it'll go far enough for icing. And the whistle blows, and we'll have another face-off.
Good hustle by Adam Smith as he just worked hard behind that net, gained possession, and threw it right out of that slot area. Unfortunately for the Raiders, there was no one there. But again, this is what you get out of these youngsters. You're getting 110 all the time. They're just going, and they're competing.
Off the draw, puck in the circle. Bouncing around Trent Thomas. Here's Thomas behind the net. Circles. Thomas looks to set it up. He has nowhere to go, and it's knocked away, and down the ice it goes. Evan Labarge racing back after it. He'll come up with it and flip it off the boards. Out to center ice. Rogers. Rogers head man. Adam Smith. Smith looking. Nice pass to Thomas. Here's Thomas. Takes it. Shoots right on. Rebound side of the net. Thomas scores on the rebound. Trent Thomas gets his second goal, and Massena goes up 2-0.
Trent Thomas following his own shot, and that time he used the defenseman as a screen. The first shot, the goaltender Shepard made the save. The rebound kicks out to his left, and Thomas goes to the net, and from a tough angle on that right side, almost parallel, right almost down to the goal line, he found the far side. Great shot and a great pass. I think that was David Rogers that sent him away in the neutral zone with just a super pass.
So the Raiders take the lead 2-0 here, and Danny Miller has the puck. Unassisted, I think Rogers, you're right, should have gotten an assist.
No question.
Here comes Danny Miller busting in. He's got a man in front, Cameron, but he gets a shot off. I think he hit the side of the net. Bouncing puck. Where is it? Oh, Miller just upended. His body's flying. It comes out to center ice. Whitcup turns it around. Falls down. Jake had a little bit of a problem. Comes up with it in the corner, gets double teamed. Puck knocked away. In behind the net it goes. Here comes Parrish with it, away from him. Darling bounces it around into the other side. It'll go to Stain Street. Now Darling can't control it. Here's the puck back to the blue line. Here's the shot, and Swamp makes the save and holds on. That shot came from Meinecker, and good move to hold on to the puck, because all of a sudden the wheels started to fall off from Massena for some reason.
Excellent time. He knew he wanted that. He wanted the puck, and he knew if he got an opportunity, he was going to hold for face-up because they were running around. There's got to be an assist on that Thomas goal. That was a great pass. No one else had touched the puck except the goaltender.
Puck's thrown away in front, but it's in behind the net. Sharp angle shot. Evan Labarge with it, flipping it back toward the blue line, kept in at the point. West Jenny flips it behind the net. Bouncing around, Mark Darling gets by the check, and he's going to carry it ahead. Darling looks to head man. He's got his man. Deflected in his own. Cameron, who lost his edge. The puck trickles in on Shepard. He'll steer it in the corner. Hard check thrown there by Bradish. The puck squirts free, and it's controlled by West Genesee as they start to move it ahead. That's Mazzoni. Mazzoni ridden into the boards. The bouncing puck comes to the Massena line, picked up by Evan Labarge, who turns it around. Looks. Labarge flips it ahead. Darling. Darling's pass is stolen away, but Labarge is there to cover up. Here's Labarge again. This time he'll flip it ahead. It goes off Cameron's stick. Here's Kyle. He's going to bust away. Can he get on the puck? Here's Kyle Cameron. It's finally knocked away at the last second. Puck goes in the corner, bouncing around. And I'll tell you, it's not pretty at times, but both teams are working very hard out there.
You bet they are.
The puck stolen in front by Hatch. He almost got a shot off. Here's Matt Hatch behind the net. He's got the puck. Hatch with it. Shifts it. to Supernaut, who has it knocked away by the defenseman. That's Mazzoni. And Supernaut steals it away again as they battle behind the net. Coming in to help out Zeppi. Ogene comes away, looks to center. It bounces in the slot. It's finally cleared by the defenseman along the boards. And kept keeping it in there again is Zeppi. He'll flip it in behind. Here's Matt Hatch looking in front. Ogene can't get the shot off. Here's Hatch again. Hatch will flip it in the corner to Ogene. Ogene to Hatch, but it goes by him and all the way down the ice. Raiders lead it 2-0 with about 4 minutes left in the period. Second period. Here comes Hatch again, looking to dump it across. It's kept in there by Matt Supernall, but it's stolen away from him and dumped to the Massena line where Danny Miller picks it up. Miller banks it ahead. There's a battle right at the West Jenny blue line, but Sharkey comes away with it to the Massena line. Poke checked away there by Miller. Now Hatch flips it. Here comes Hatch across the blue line, and he'll just dump it in the corner as Massena makes a line change. Great shift for that line.
Great shift, a little long towards the end. They stayed out there a little long, but it was a great shift.
Here comes the puck at the red line, dumped into the Massena zone. Danny Miller back after it behind the net. Miller with the puck, looks up. Miller flips it ahead, too far. That's going to be icing against Massena. I think he was expecting Tubolino to break, and he didn't, and icing will be the call.
That second goal for the Raiders coming at the 8:26 mark is second of the night and sixth of the year. Trent Thomas, they listed unassisted, but there's got to be an assist. It's either Rogers or Smith. I think it's Rogers. Great pass through the middle, and Thomas picking up his own rebound.
Face off in the Massena zone. Tubolino wins the draw to Borden. Puck clear to the blue line, not out of the zone. Here's a shot. Swamp makes the save. Kind of a floater from the left point, that shot taken by Meinecker, but Leroy saw it all the way and covers up and holds on.
These two clubs last year, if you remember, great game. 3-2 West Genesee won, and a power play goal in that third period. But two evenly matched clubs here this afternoon.
It will be Tubolino facing off against Stieff. Off the draw, comes to Evan Labarge. Labarge skates out of the corner. Looks to flip it ahead to Hadler. Jeremy, headman pass, and he almost got Tubolino, but it's dumped back in the Massena zone. Here comes Horan behind the net. Patrick Horan stays with it, flips it ahead for Hadler. Hadler back to the, trying to clear the zone, but it's kept in at the point. Now the puck goes bouncing back to the point. Dumped into the corner again. Massena zone, battle for it there. Horan flips it ahead. The Raiders will break it out. Here comes Hadler. Nice little feather pass to Petrie. Petrie cuts across the middle to Hadler. Backhand. Oh, and Tubolino tries to knock it in. He couldn't do it. Couldn't knock it out of the air. And back comes West Genesee out to center ice. Dumped away at the blue line. Trickles into the Massena zone. And Evan Labarge will chase down after it. Here's Labarge in behind his own net. He'll start out left side. Flip it on the wing to Hadler. Hadler starting back. He's looking. Goes to Petrie, rather. Petrie trying to barge his way through as Massena makes a line change. Petrie all of a sudden sees he doesn't have anybody to pass to, so he looks to tie it up in the corner, but it squirts away. Now Thomas comes in there. The puck kept in by Smith. Smith flips it in the corner. Knocked away from him. Comes to Hadler. Back out to center ice. Now Rogers flips it back in the zone. And it's picked up there by the D of West Jenny. And they'll move it D to D and out to center ice and down the ice. And is that far enough for icing? It is. And the whistle blows and the faceoff will come back in the West Jenny zone, the Wildcats.
I like this combination of A.J. Tubolino at center with Sean Petrie on one side and Jeremy Hadler on the other. I tell you, got a speedy center and two fairly good-sized wings out there, and they seem to be working awfully well together. I think if they stay together, they're going to score some goals.
Rogers takes the face-off, wins. No, he did. Now he gets it back again. There's a battle along the boards. It's controlled by West Jenny, and they just bounce it over the glass into the stands. 1:34 left in the second period. Raiders lead 2-0 on the Coach's Corner scoreboard.
Back in action after today, the Raiders prior to the Christmas break next Wednesday night up at the Golden Obe, 6:30 dropping the puck. So if you can't be there, tune us in for all the action.
Like this line too, this Rogers.
Yeah, they're right. I do. That's
Thomas with a puck, his shot, and he fired it wide. And had that been on net, I don't think the goaltender was ready. Puck goes in behind the net. Picked up on the defense by Mazzoni. Flips it high off the glass to center ice. Dumped right back in by Miller. Wow. All the way back into the corner of the arena. And the faceoff will come in neutral ice.
That line punishes you, Jerry. I mean, they're you got Smith who hits everything in sight. Rogers is a rugged center out there. Not a good fluid skater, but I mean he's strong on his skates. And Trent Thomas, we talked about him before. That has a good knack with that puck. So some good combinations for the Raiders. And their third and fourth units are really doing an excellent job out.
Off the face-off, puck dumped back in the Massena zone, and it's going to be stopped by Leroy Swamp, and he'll hold on for the face-off.
And what Coach Latham has been doing is alternating his goaltending. They carry 3 on the team, but Steve Fountain, just a sophomore, but we say LaFrance and Leroy Swamp have been alternating.
Mark Darling to face off against Stapleton. Raiders win the draw, clear it to the blue line, but not out. Dump back in the corner again. Evan Labarge with it, stops behind the net, looks for his wing. He's got his wing, and the Raiders break it out. Nice little touch pass by Cameron. Ahead it goes. Bradish, he fires it high and wide. Puck bounces in behind the net. Where is it? I think it's in the mesh or off the ice surface, or nobody seems to know where the puck is.
What a great passing. Evan Labarge coming out of his own end. Great lead pass to number 10, Darling, Mark Darling, who hit Jared Bradish on that left side with a super pass. Nice three-way combination. Looked good out there, and didn't finish, but you like to see that, the way they're moving that puck.
Okay. Must be the puck went off the ice surface because they moved the faceoff outside the zone. And the puck cleared to the Massena line. Into the zone it goes. Horn racing back after it. Flips it ahead for Cameron. Kyle looks up ice. He's got his man breaking. That's Darling. Darling takes it across, stops, tries to make the move through the middle, gets tied up, and he gets knocked down, and the puck comes back out to the neutral zone, to the Massena line. Evan Labarge is there. Nice play by Labarge, and the puck, goes right in front of the West Jenny bench. They could have gotten too many men again, but here comes Darling, busts right down the middle. It trickles in. The goaltender's going to put the big stick out and cover up and hold on for the face-off. We're down to 18 seconds left in the middle period. Raiders lead 2-0 on the coach's corner scoreboard.
Mark Darling, all arms and legs. He's fairly good size, about 6 foot, about 160, and but he takes up a lot of space out there. He draws a lot of attention. He's flailing and cutting through there. It takes about 2 guys to bring him down.
And it's going to be Supernall taking the face-off in the circle. It bounces right to him. He gets a shot off, but it's blocked. Gets it back again. Goes back to the point. Here's a drive by Whitcup. Goes on the other side. Nice shot by Hatch, but it's knocked away and out to center ice. And here comes West Genesee as they break in the zone, taking it into the corner. Here's a shot right across the goal mouth as the buzzer sounds. And the Raiders almost got one at the other end, but almost gave up one at the very end of the period. And so the Raiders get the 2 goals in the middle period and lead it on a score of 2-0 on the coach's corner. The circle for Massena to face off against Holzhauer. Off the draw, West Jenny picks up the puck, taking it in the zone. Labarge trying to tie up the forward O'Meara. And O'Meara skates away with the puck, then drops it in behind. It goes to Sauda. Sauda gets tied up again. The puck squirts free to Holzhauer. Holzhauer gets tied up by Rogers, kicks it ahead. And finally, they get free. It goes to the side of the net. It's sitting in the slot. Oh, yeah, good play made by, who was that? Trent Thomas, who knocked down the forward. And the puck comes along the boards, and there's going to be a penalty, probably a holding call that happened after the fact, but West Genesee still controls. Finally, Massena touches it, and the whistle blows. Going to be a hooking call, against Massena, but the Raiders running around there having trouble clearing the zone.
And it was Steve O'Meara that had the wide open net, if not for the good defensive play by Trent Thomas, aided by Evan Labarge. As they they realized they knock him off the puck, and we don't have to worry about a puck sliding through that open area. Good defensive play.
So it's going to be Labarge picking up the hooking call. So the Raiders are down a man. Tubolino with a puck. He clears it, not out of the zone. Here's the shot. It's gloved, and Leroy Swamp holds on for the faceoff.
The West Genesee Wildcats, just always a good program. State champs just back in 2001.
Off the faceoff. Raiders trying to come up with it. It's cleared to Tubolino, and he builds up the head of steam, carries it out to center ice, right by the defenseman. Here's Tubolino right by the other defenseman. Breaks in, shot, save. Rebound. Did it go in? No, it didn't. It sure looked like it did, but not quite. The puck bounces back out to center ice.
What a great effort by A.J. Tubolino.
And the Raiders clear the puck out to the neutral zone, and offsides will be the call as West Jenny took it right back in. I thought that crossed the line.
So did
I. Guess
I,
it didn't.
but the official right there on the spot. But a great individual effort as Tubolino out of his own end through several players, cut to the left, and from a tough angle, I thought he beat goaltender Shepard to the glove side low. But
they're both talking, both captains, Danny Miller and Tubolino, talking to the official. They're not going to call a goal now. Off the draw, puck in the neutral zone. Finally, it's picked up by the Wildcats, and they'll try to clear it into the zone, but it comes back out again. Now it's dumped just across the blue line. Danny Miller with it. He'll flip it ahead out to the neutral zone again. West Genesee controlling into the Massena zone. Jake Whitcup. Whitcup comes out of the corner, flips it ahead, doesn't clear, however. Here's a drive through traffic. Save made. Big rebound. Shot fired up over the net. Puck along the boards. Controlled by West Jenny. They'll dump in the corner. Dan Miller's there for Massena. Has it taken away, goes to the side of the net, it sits there, and Swamp comes out to try to play it. It bounces around, in behind, Whitcup clears it into the corner. 15 seconds left in the man advantage. Still controlled by West Jenny. Now Rogers picks it up and rifles it down the ice. And again, Massena occasionally guilty of that fishing for the puck.
yeah, that's you got to play the body down there.
Adam Smith almost steals it. And now the puck out to center ice. Here comes West Jenny. The penalty is elapsed. And the puck in the zone. We're going to have a whistle and an offsides on West Genesee.
Played just a few, let me see, 43-17. 2 minutes and 17 seconds of the third period. Raiders up 2-0. Just killed off a power play, a West Jenny power play.
And now we've got some changes as Darling's line comes out for Massena. Off the face-off, puck at the red line. Picked up by the Warriors, dumping in the Massena zone. Ian Maxwell's there to bank it off the boards out to center ice. Right back comes West Genesee. That's Thompson. He slides one right on from long range, and it's steered into the corner by Leroy Swamp. Back to the point it comes. Raiders try to clear the zone. Good job to keep it in there by West Genesee. Here's a shot, save made. Where's the puck side of the net? And bouncing around back toward the blue line. Raiders try to move it out to center ice. Finally, it's Kyle Cameron coming up with it, and he flips it ahead to Mark Darling. Intercepted, but right intercepted again by Jared Bradish. His shot, he fires it wide. Goaltender comes out to play it and missed it. Bradish tries the center, but it's knocked away. Back to the blue line. Here's a shot. Bouncing in front. Everybody waving at it. Nobody can put up with it. Now it bounces to Bradish. His shot right on the save made by Shepard. Here's Hatch in front. Great pass to Bradish. His shot, save made. Rebound bouncing around. Comes to the slot. Back toward the blue line. Here's Hatch to the point. Over to Danny Miller. Miller's shot. Save made again by Shepard. Puck in the corner. Bradish trying to go to Hatch. It's knocked away around the boards, and Miller keeps it in at the point. Here's Danny Miller. Can't come up with it. Finally, it's cleared out to center ice, and it comes to Supernaw, who couldn't get on the ice because Bradish was involved in the play. Now it's dumped back in the zone. Picked up on the defense by Fusillo. Looks up ice. Banks it ahead. Oh, and Whitcup almost kept it in, but couldn't. Now he has to retreat. Here's Whitcup. He'll take it across. He's rubbed off the play. The puck cleared, but Whitcup stays with it. Body's flying. It goes into the corner. Now it's dumped. Doesn't come out of the zone. Finally, it's cleared down the ice, and that'll roll on end. Will it go far enough for a no? They waved the icing off. It did cross the red line. Whitcup has to come back after it. He flips it into the corner. Raiders still lead it 2-0. West Jenny controlling the puck. Supernaw back checking, loses its side of the net. They got a man in front. Where's the puck? And Leroy Swamp has covered it up and holds on for the faceoff.
Some great play at both ends defensively before that last flurry by Massena. Patrick Horn doing a great job as he knocked Scott Lewis flat in his butt as Lewis was looking at an empty net. And back at the other way, number 11, Matt Hatch, doing some great work setting up Jared Bradish, and Bradish had several great opportunities to score.
Off the faceoff, puck in the circle, goes back to the point for West Jenny. They move it D to D, dumping into the corner. Horan throws a check, trying to come up with a puck. Now Rogers back checking. Puck squirts free again. It comes to the side of the net, bouncing in behind. Swamp's going to cover up and hold on for the faceoff.
Leroy looks a lot more confident, I would say the most confident I've seen in his 5 starts so far this year. He's playing with a lot of confidence out there, and he's making some good decisions with the puck, when to hold and when not to hold.
Got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
That's right.
Tubolino out to take the draw against Holzhauer. Off the face, puck in the circle. Tubolino clears it to Horan, who takes it behind the net, rips it around the boards. Sharkey keeps it in at the point. His shot is in the net. And it may have been deflected in front, I'm not sure, but that makes it a 2-1 ball game.
That certainly did hit something because it dropped about 2 feet. And the Raiders ran it around on the boards, and Sharkey did a good job getting to the point and to keep it, getting to that right side, and knocked it down in just one time to shot, and it hit something halfway to the net, and goaltender Leroy Swamp had no chance. We'll wait and see. If they give it to Sharkey, then it hit a Massena player, but it definitely hit something.
Here comes Massena's Tubolino back the other way. He winds up, his shot hit the goalpost. So Tubi's had a couple of good chances in this third period. He's got the puck, drops it behind the net. Here's Hadler with it. Hadler and Petrie. Petrie along the boards, comes to the blue line, and there's a battle for it there. Petrie, and the whistle blows, and it's tied up. 2-1 our score. Massena leads on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard as the puck is tied up.
They did give the goal to Tim Sharkey, so it did hit a Massena player, but no question that hit something that changed directions. It dropped about 2 feet by the time it got to the net.
Face off top of the circle. Off the draw. Puck in the corner. Picked up there by Mazzoni. Mazzoni knocked off the puck. It's cleared toward the blue line. Munson pinches in. Feeds it in front. Oh, deflected by Tubolino wide. Great pass by Munson. Goes around to Borden at the other point. He'll just flip it in the corner. Here's Hadler. Hadler throws a check. Comes up with a puck. Here's Hadler skating behind. Centering pass in front. Shot. Save made. That came off the stick of Petrie on a nice pass from Hadler.
Jeremy Hadler doing great work along the boards as he just flattened one of the West Jenny players and continued on with the puck. And there was a crowd in front. He waited, trying to pick out a white shirt, and he finally found Sean Petrie, put it on the tape, but Sean didn't get a lot on it, and Sharkey held for the rebound.
Off the face-off, puck sits in the circle. Brad is trying to come up with it. He can't. It's picked up by West Genesee as they try to move it ahead. Streif, he'll flip it all the way down the ice. It'll trickle in on Swamp. He'll cover up and hold on for the face-off.
Oh, Danny Miller is going to get a penalty here, and he took exception to the West Genesee player who, after the whistle, he felt Kevin Costello had tried to dig the puck out from the Massena goaltender, and Danny Miller took exception and gave him a little shot, and referee Joel Dupree said, hey, I didn't call that a penalty the first time, but I'm calling one on you for hitting after the whistle or whatever. But
well, you know, there's a couple schools of thought on that. You know, you got to protect your goaltender.
Sure.
But it's going to give West Genesee the power play. So the Raiders now are going to be called upon to kill one here. And here's the shot, knocked down, side of the net, bounces in front, and it's high over the net and into the corner it goes. Great opportunity for West Jenny. How'd that stay out?
Oh, it hit a stick, I think.
Now the puck cleared behind the net. Jake Whitcup with it. He'll flip it around the boards. Adam Smith taking hard into the boards. Bouncing puck back toward the blue line. Here's a shot. Leroy clears it into the corner. May not have been even on net, but he decided to get it out of harm's way. Now the puck along the boards. Controlled again by West Genesee behind the net. It's Sauda. Sauda will drop and try to give and go. They come to the circle, back to the point, back to the high slot, knocked away. Here's a shot, knocked down, and Trent Thomas will chase it in the corner, looking just to tie it up. And he still got it. Where is it? Comes free. Here's a shot, save made. Rebound goes to Whitcup. Whitcup's got room. Looks, finds the hole, doesn't clear the zone. It's knocked down in front and cleared into the corner again by the Raiders. Bouncing puck. In behind the net, Sauda's there again for West Genesee. He's going to try to wrap it around. Hits the side of the net, Swamp out of the net to cover it up, and he'll hold on for the face-off with 18 seconds left in the man advantage.
West Genesee applying all kinds of pressure out there, they gained the zone and kept it in. Massena had a couple chances to clear it, but couldn't get it across that blue line. West Jenny putting all kinds of pressure. 18 seconds left in the power play.
Tubolino. Off the face-off, it sits in the circle, then it's cleared back to the point, controlled by West Genesee. They'll just dump it in the corner. Actually, I guess that was a bounce pass. It's controlled back to the blue line. They'll move it on the wing again. In behind the net. Penalty has elapsed. Raiders get a man back. Miller. Here's the shot, the rebound, score! Oh boy. The Raiders had just got their man back, a weak shot, but Swamp gave up a huge rebound in the net, and we're tied at 2.
I think that's going to be Dorflor, number 14, Joe Duflor, getting the goal. It was Raiders just got a man back. In fact, the guy stepping out of the box, Danny Miller, almost got to the shooter at the point. He couldn't. The shot went in. Swamp made the save, but gave up a huge rebound, and Duflor right off the crease has shoveled it by him.
So now we're tied at 2, and we're about halfway through the third period. So there we go, a 2-2 tie. Here's Evan Labarge, comes out of the circle. He'll flip it ahead to Sean Petrie. Petrie takes it behind the net for Massena. Here's Petrie with it, looks up ice. Oh, tried to get it through, and Tubolino couldn't put a stick on it, but they waved the icing off, ruling several players probably could have played it. Puck goes around the boards in the corner. Back out to the neutral zone. Back to the Massena line. Horan flips ahead for Hadler, a little bit too far. Bouncing around, comes back to Horan. He'll just dump from the red line. Puck in the corner. Massena's going to make a line change here. It's picked up on the defense and around the boards. Stolen by Petrie. Petrie takes it behind the net. Here's Petrie looking in the corner. Goes back to the point, but Miller can't keep it in. Not a very good pass. It'll trickle in on Swamp, and he's going to just let it go behind him as Miller comes up with it. He'll flip it to Labarge. Labarge will dump it around on the other side for Petrie. Petrie looks up ice, trying to move it ahead. Now Labarge, or Miller rather, follows. Here's Miller, gets by one. Miller's going to have a 2-on-1 if he can catch up with it. He can't. Has to come back for it. He'll dump it in the zone. He had Hadler breaking, and now Massena does make wholesale changes as the puck comes to Miller at the blue line. His pass knocked away. Darling steals. Here's Darling. He'll just dump it in the zone. In the corner it goes. Back to pick it up is Sharkey. Tim Sharkey dumps it out to the neutral zone. Whitcup lost his edge again and comes up with it finally. He'll flip it ahead, deflected into the zone by Massena. Was that not deflected?
I thought it was, but
they're going to call icing.
That second West Genesee goal to tie this game coming at the 7:14 mark. 2 goals within 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Joe Duflor, I'm killing the youngster's name. Duflor, I guess it is, from Tom Fusillo.
Off the face-off, Hadler, or I should say Horan with it rather, goes to Evan Labarge. Labarge just flips it ahead. Down the ice it goes. Racing for it is Kyle Cameron. Cameron in the corner. He gets checked. There's going to be a penalty on Sharkey. And going to be boarding on Sharkey. And Kyle's still on the ice. As Sharkey just nailed him. I think Kyle's okay. He's getting up slowly. But that'll give the Raiders a power play. And if they, this is a good place to have one.
One of the Wildcats, or maybe if not one of the best defenseman, Tim Sharkey, veteran from last year, taking Kyle Cameron heavily into the boards deep in the West Jenny end. And Cameron's back up on his feet, and Raiders going to go on a power play. Need to regroup a little bit. We're cruising along 2-0 in complete control of the game, and all of a sudden, boom.
Wheels kind of fell off a little bit. Massena on the power play, though, in the corner. Trent Thomas with it. Thomas right in front. Oh, and Petrie couldn't quite get a stick on it. Great pass by Thomas. He's got it at the dot, trying to go back to Miller. It's knocked away. Raiders keep it in. Nice job, Evan Labarge. Miller trying to flip it in the corner to Thomas. Thomas moves it, centers it. Where is it? Bounces into the stands. And they're going to move it outside. Well, wait, no, it's going to be inside the zone. Went off a West Jenny stick.
Good scoring opportunity for the Raiders. Trent Thomas from the left side threading a pass. He probably had 6 inches, if that, to put that pass through there, and he got it through to Trent Thomas on there. Sean Petrie on that right side, and he couldn't finish.
Rogers off the face-off. Puck sits in the circle, picked up, and high off the glass out to center ice. Dan Miller is there for Massena. Miller, head man to Petrie. He'll just dump it in the zone. Puck goes in behind the net, picked up on the defense by Meinecker, loses. Here comes Trent Thomas around the boards. He gets tied up and falls down. The puck is still free. Picked up by the Raiders. Back to Miller at the point. Quick shot. Save made. Kicked into the corner. Goes to Trent Thomas. Thomas to the dot. Steps by the check in front. Rogers, his shot blocked. Comes up with a puck. Slides it right on. The save is made by goaltender Shepard. He covers up.
Trent Thomas working his magic out of that corner, found David Rogers, and David wasn't in a position to shoot. When he gets in that slot area, he's got to be ready to trigger that puck, and as he got it, he had to crank himself up, and it just that little extra time gave the defenseman a time to get over.
Off the face-off, puck just cleared out to center ice. Miller with it, picks up a forechecker and has to turn back in his own zone. Danny Miller in behind his own net, looking up ice. Going to leave it for Rogers, who'll carry it. Here comes David Rogers down the right wing side. Picks up a crowd. Slides it in the zone, but it's intercepted and dumped down the ice. Miller blocks it at the red line. Leaves it for Labarge. Labarge across to Petrie, offsides, as Rogers went in ahead of the play. So the Raiders with some good chances early in the power play, but they're down to 9 seconds.
9 seconds on this power play. 4:36 left in this third period. 2-2 hockey game. Raiders we're up 2-0, but the Wildcats have responded with 2 goals in just over 2.5 minutes.
Streif will take the face-off against Tubolino. Off the draw. Got a whistle. What's the call?
It's almost like an illegal procedure call against West Genesee. I don't know.
They're going to just do the face-off
again.
Do it
all over again.
Okay. Off the draw. Puck cleared out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Evan Labarge. Labarge at his own blue line. Over to Horan. Horan turns around. Little problem with it. Bouncing puck goes in the corner. Labarge will have to come back up with it. Labarge flips on the wing. Not out of the zone. Here's Sharkey. Fires it wide. Puck cleared to the blue line. Not out of the zone yet. Finally, it comes ahead to Adam Smith. Smith trying to flip it. It's intercepted. Sharkey. Sharkey back the other way. Sharkey takes it in the corner. Gets a sharp angle shot. Swamp makes the save. Puck in behind to Evan Labarge. He'll flip it around the boards and out to center ice. It'll roll on end, but not far enough for icing. Hadler skating in after it. He gets to it first. Hadler takes a check. Comes away with a puck. Centers it in front. A bouncer comes all the way back to the point. Here's Jake Whitcup with it. Whitcup will dump it in the corner. In behind the net it goes. Hadler again throws a check. Puck squirts free to Miller. Miller cruising in behind the net. Here's Miller trying to go by the check. Leaves for Hadler. Hadler goes to Whitcup in front. Takes a whack at it, but it's not going to make it. And it's cleared out to center ice where Adam Smith comes up with it. He'll flip it ahead. Just across the blue line. Oh, Hatch almost came up with it. Now it's dumped down the ice by West Genesee. That'll be icing with 3:22 left in the third period. 2-2 tie hockey game on the IceHawks custom screen printing scoreboard.
Again, Jeremy Hadler, doing a lot of board work and some excellent board work deep in the West Genesee end, creating some opportunities for the Raiders, but it's nail-biting time now.
It will be Supernall taking the face-off. Off the draw, puck comes to Horan, who flips it in behind the net for Supernall. Supernall looks to center, goes right in front the slot, but it's cleared back toward the blue line, and it trickles out to center ice, dumped right back in. Raiders have to get onside. They do. It's picked up on the defense. Actually, Stain Street back there. He's the forward, but they move it out to center ice. Here comes West Genesee now. Tom Fusillo in the Massena zone. Centers it right in front. Ooh, shot just wide. That almost went in. Now it's picked up by Hatch. Hatch will flip it ahead. Kept in at the point momentarily. Now the Raiders break out of the zone. Here comes Massena's Hatch. Hatch stick handles. Has it poked away. Gets it back again. Takes it in the corner. He'll dump it in behind the net. Trying to go to Supernall. Now it comes back to Evan Labarge at the point. Knocked away from him. Past Miller. Here's a foot race for it. Racing down the ice. And here comes Swamp out of his net and holds on for the face-off. And who was that? Was that Miller coming from behind, just kind of bothering him? And it was enough so he couldn't get the shot on.
I think it was Evan Labarge. And if the West Genesee player would have been using the noggin, he would have taken a dive right there, and they would have had to call a hook. But he didn't go down. The stick was impeded him somewhat, but didn't go down.
Off the face-off, here comes Trent Thomas breaking out of the zone. Ahead to Adam Smith in on the right wing side. Here's Smith to Thomas in front, and he just couldn't get a stick on it. Back to the blue line, kept in momentarily by Massena, but now it's going to be out to center ice. To the Massena line. Back after it is Jake Whitcup. 2:13 left, still 2-2. Whitcup takes the puck behind the net. Here's Whitcup ripping it around the boards for Adam Smith. He'll go back to Whitcup as West Genesee putting some forechecking pressure. Miller hits Rogers. Rogers takes it across, loses it at the blue line. Has it knocked away. It goes out to center ice. Whitcup will flip to Miller on the other side. Danny Miller dumps. He wants off. The puck goes all the way around the boards. And the check is thrown. The bouncing puck picked up again by West Genesee. That's Meinecker. Meinecker in the corner looking. He's got some room. Flips it ahead. Down the ice it goes. And I don't think that's going to go far enough for icing. Nope, it doesn't. But Horan gets back to cover up and does a good job with the puck. Flipping it ahead, trying to clear the zone. It's tied up along the boards. Back to the blue line. Dumped in the corner. In behind the net. They rip it around the boards. West Genesee controls in the Massena zone as they move it around. Finally, it's clear to the blue line. Here's a shot. Goes wide in behind. West Genesee still with a puck. They dump it in the corner. Along the boards to the blue line. Tubolino trying to get it out of the zone. They keep it in the zone. We're in the final minute. Here's a shot knocked down. Goes into the corner. West Jenny still with a puck as the Raiders having trouble clearing. In behind. It sits side of the net. Here's a wraparound attempt. Swamp makes the save and holds on for the face-off as the whistle blows with 48 seconds left.
Ooh, the Raiders right back on their heels as West Jenny got it into the zone and kept it in, and Massena could not clear the zone. And number 24, again, Sharkey, he's dangerous back there. Had a couple opportunities. He drifted one just wide. It was a bullet. He's got a hard shot, one of the hardest that we've seen this year. And I'll tell you, Raiders, 48 seconds left before overtime.
2-2 tie game. Darling to take the face-off. West Jenny wins it. Back to the point. Here's a shot. Save a rebound. A big one in front. It bounces in behind the net. Raiders fortunate because there was a wide open net. Here comes Massena to the blue line. Not out of the zone. Here's a shot right on. Rebound cleared. Not out of the zone. Now trickles to the blue line and out to center ice. Here comes Darling with it. He'll dump it deep in West Jenny territory. 25 seconds left. Petrie trying to come in after it. He'll throw a check and steal the puck. Here's Petrie to Darling behind the net. Knocked away to the blue line. Evan Labarge has it bounce over his stick. Labarge will have to come back after it, trying to clear the zone, but Petrie's there to pick it up. Here's Petrie. Drops it to Labarge with 5 seconds left. We're going to have overtime here, I think. Well, Labarge, there's the buzzer. And we will go to overtime. The Raiders cough up a 2-goal lead in this third period, and now we're going to go to overtime.
And Dave Holzhauer, number 7 in blue for the Wildcats, got to be shaking his head because he had a wide open net on a rebound coming across the crease, and he couldn't control it because Swamp was down out of the...
Into the overtime, 2-2 tie hockey game. Raiders were cruising along, actually. Pretty much had the better part of play. Pretty even first period. Raiders control the second period. They were leading 2-0 going into the third, but West Jenny came back. The power play, the penalty, even though it didn't result in a goal, it was right at the end of the power play.
Sure.
And that was the first goal, and then the Raiders gave up another one. And that's where we're at right now, a 2-2 tie.
And I'm sure Coach Latham instructed his youngsters, we want to get the puck deep. When we are getting it down there deep, we've been successful with this defense. So,
off the face-off, puck into the Massena zone. Of course, the opposite is true.
Yeah.
And it's knocked down, Jake Witka, but he gets back up again, slides the puck along the boards. Petrie takes a check, comes back to the blue line and bounces out to center ice. Tubolino didn't see it. And it's dumped to the open wing, trickles into the Massena zone. Danny Miller's there. He'll flip it ahead. Oh, he almost got Petrie. It bounces by him. It's going to trickle right in front of the net, but it's picked up by the defenseman Meinecker. Clears it around the boards. It goes high in the air, and it stays in the rink somehow, and finally it's dumped from the red line back in Massena territory. Jake Whitcup after it. He'll pick it up side of the net. He'll look for Petrie. Petrie banks it ahead to the neutral zone. It goes by the defenseman. Now Tubolino racing for it. Can't come up with it. Cleared out to center ice. Massena making a line change. Thomas throws a check. And the puck bounces in the zone. Picked up there by David Rogers in behind his own net. He'll stop. Go to the right side. And that's where West Jenny is. They're going to shoot from the point. The save made. And again, a big rebound given up by Swamp. But that time it's cleared into the corner. Comes to Patrick Horan. Horan will flip it around the other way. And again, West Jenny putting some good forechecking pressure on. They've got the puck behind the net. Goes in the corner. Rogers throws a check. Tubolino will pick up the loose puck. Lost it in his skates. The puck bounces in front, but Evan Labarge is there. He moves it ahead. And Raiders look it out to center ice. And they look like they're a little tired, Coach.
Poor change. Got some guys out there too long.
Now it's dumped back inside West Jenny territory by Adam Smith. Puck in the corner, in the back of the zone. Cleared high on the glass, out to center ice. It'll come to Danny Miller. Miller at the red line. Steps by one check. He gets double teamed, but following up is Thomas. Here's Trent Thomas. Winds up, shot high over the net. Puck goes all the way back to the blue line. Whitcup kind of fanned on the shot, and it's picked up there by West Genesee. They'll move it ahead and out to center ice. That's Costello to the Massena line. Back across it goes. They'll have to get on side, and they dump it deep. Danny Miller will pick up the puck as West Jenny making a change. Miller, he's got the loose puck. He'll start it out left side. Danny Miller looks, gets by the check. Here's Miller. He'll dump from the red line. just across the blue line. Thomas in the corner, drops it back to Miller. Miller takes a whack at it, keeps it in the zone. He dumps it, but it's intercepted and dumped to an open wing out to center ice. To the Massena line, poke checked right there by Jake Whitcup. Now dumped back inside Massena territory, just barely, back out by Darling, back across the blue line. Here's a shot, Swamp makes a save, goes high on the glass, puck goes along the boards. Jacob Whitcup picking it up. Whitcup takes it behind the net, just over 2 minutes. He'll clear to the blue line, but not out of the zone. Here's a shot, Swamp makes the save, leaves it for Danny Miller. Miller, high in the air. Darling knocks it down, trying to come up with it. It trickles to the Massena line. Whitcup again. Here's Whitcup just along the boards. Darling takes a whack at it, kicks it ahead. Raiders try to put it across, but it's knocked down. And back comes West Jenny. Evan Labarge intercepts. His pass is in turn intercepted. And across the line it goes. Offsides will be the call with 1:41 remaining in the overtime period, and neither team has really managed to do too much in this overtime.
No, the West Jenny applied some pressure when Massena, we talked about making a poor change. The wing on the strong side changed in his own end, the defensive end, and when the guy fired it around, there was no one there except the blue shirt.
Off the draw, the puck sits at the blue line. Finally, it's Petrie. Petrie, upended. And the puck slides into the West Jenny zone. They clear it right back out to center ice. Bouncing around to the Massena line. Here comes Holtzauer. He and Pat Horan go together. Holtzauer flips it ahead. In the corner to O'Meara. O'Meara battling for it. Hadler's there. We're down to 1:20. And the puck is tied up and we'll have a face-off.
1:20 in the consolation game of the Massena Tournament. Both these clubs, I don't know, you might say it could each deserve a point out of this because it's been a pretty even Steven game.
Off the face-off, puck along the boards. Raiders try to move it ahead. Here's the shot. Save made by Leroy Swamp. Puck in the corner behind the net. Miller gets upended, tries to get back up again. It squirts free. And along the boards, it's controlled by O'Meara. O'Meara has it taken away, gets it back again. His shot, he fired it wide. Puck goes around to the other side. And Hadler managed to move it out to center ice. Dumped back in the zone by Sharkey. It comes to Danny Miller. Miller hit the official with it. Finally moves it out to center ice, Trent Thomas. 40 seconds left. Here's Thomas, 1-on-3. He's upended. And the puck cleared to the blue line and out to center ice. Picked up there by Adam Smith. Goes to Danny Miller. Miller flips it ahead. And we're going to have an icing on Massena. Nope, they wave it off. And in behind the net, it's picked up by West Jenny's defense. They'll move it ahead, but right there's Evan Labarge to shovel it back to the blue line. Right back comes Meinecker, dumping in the Massena zone. Labarge going in the corner after it, but it's tied up. We're down to 7 seconds. Bouncing around. They center in front. Big opportunity, and that'll take care of the game. It'll end a tie.
And the second, I believe that's number 19. They've got to be able to close out a club, and they didn't do that today. And credit to West Genesee, their young club, to bounce back from that 2-0 deficit. And maybe it's justified that both these clubs come away with a point.
So 2 all-tournament selections being made for Wildcats. Tim Sharkey, their fine defenseman who makes the all-tournament team from Massena. Trent Thomas, who had a couple of goals today. And also Sean Petrie, who had a strong game both last night and tonight for Massena.
Yeah, I think those are good selections all the way around for this.